I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me.
Happy Veterans Day to everybody out there that has served our country. We want to thank you. Thank you so much for your service to this country. This is the show, Millionaire Before the Age of 30, and we are on a mission.
Absolutely. As you guys know, we are on a mission to provide you guys the exact blueprint of how to become a millionaire before 30. I'm Ryan Zolin.
I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. Talk to People, and we have a special guest today. So, Ryan, why don't you introduce who we have here? Because this is going to blow your guys' minds.
Yep.
This story, this young gentleman, 24 years old. Go ahead.
This
Introduce
is
him.
Ryan Huber. Ryan, do you want to give the audience a little bit about your backstory, maybe a little elevator
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Ryan Huber. I'm 24 years old. I'm a professional pilot and a real estate wholesaler. I own a company called Offer Cribs. And basically, I loved aviation my whole life. I wanted to be a pilot since I was a kid. I got started really young. Ended up going to an accelerated trade school to get my pilot ratings and began a career in aviation. I was able to travel all over the world. I was based in Egypt for the last 3 years, flying for a billionaire on a private jet, got some really cool opportunities. But I said, hey, I've got all this off time away from flying, and I can either use this to like party and do stupid stuff, or I can use this to monetize and make money and better myself. And, ultimately achieve the bigger dreams I had in life. And, I saw this lifestyle of this billionaire who had all this stuff. And I was like, I want that. I want ultimate freedom. I want to own a jet one day. I don't just want to fly the jet. I want to own the jet. So how do I do that? And so I looked into different opportunities and I said, okay, what statistically has made the most millionaires or built the most wealth for the most amount of people? And that's real estate. So, Brent, Ryan, myself, we're all involved in real estate. And I said, okay, how can I get involved? And so I did what a lot of you may do. I went to YouTube University, read books, learned different things. And I said, okay, this real estate wholesaling thing looks pretty cool. I don't really need much money or if any money to start. And I can just get started. And that can be a vehicle to get into bigger and bigger things. And ultimately in real estate, there really isn't a cap. I mean, you can take down multi-billion-dollar buildings and have that cash flow for the rest of your life, for the rest of your family's life. So,
big thinker, right?
Really,
big thinker.
Dude.
Yeah,
I
so,
love this, man.
You got to go big.
Where does this come from? Why 24? You're flying around. I mean, not even as a young man, you're flying around billionaires in Egypt, in Cairo.
Yes, Cairo,
right?
Egypt, yeah.
And you're seeing this lifestyle. Did that affect you, or was that seed already planted?
I think the seed was already planted a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, I grew up a pretty modest life. I grew up with a single mom. She worked really, really hard to make ends meet and pay the bills. And we had a decent house. We had food on the table. I was thankful in that regard. But I went to a school where a lot of kids had more than I did. They had a lot of, luxuries and opportunities that I didn't have. And I was like, how can I maximize my life, or how can I get these things, or how can I be the parent to provide those things for my kids? And so I've always wanted, bigger things. I like nice stuff. I like doing cool things. I love to travel. And so that always stuck with me, and I wanted to do big stuff. And my parents would always tell me, hey, you can do anything you want to do in this world. You just got to make it happen. So I took that to heart, and then definitely being around billionaires or seeing people of massive wealth,
like real billionaires.
Yeah, real billionaires,
like with a B.
Absolutely, yeah. This guy, insane lifestyle.
Right.
2 airplanes, over $100 million just in airplanes.
Wow.
Resorts on the Red Sea, all kinds of crazy stuff. Owned multiple companies. Insane amount of abundance in his life, and so seeing that was just like, wow, it's insane people even operate on this level. And so, that definitely
let me ask you,
hit me
because
as well.
everybody goes, well, listen, it's you see the veneer of the lifestyle of a billionaire, but they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. They have a hole in them that will never be filled by, relationships or by anything. But with happiness, it's all about go and win and more. Is that the case? Is it different? Like, I've never been around like a billionaire.
I mean, he had good days and bad days, just like anybody.
Sure.
So I mean, everybody's a human at the end of the day, and I think there is a correlation between money and happiness, but at the same time, there's not. Like, I think you have to be doing things you're passionate about and truly care about, and it's how you use your money. And one thing that I really believe in is like, money only amplifies who you already are. So if you're inherently a good person and you want to do good, then money's going to amplify that.
Yep.
But if you're a bad person and you want to do evil things, then money's going to amplify that as well. For sure. So it's like you can attract good and happiness into your life and use your wealth for abundance and freedom, or you can use it for destruction and to hurt yourself. So it's like,
for sure,
love it.
I think that's your choice.
All right, so
awesome.
I gotta get a question for you. Yeah. So walk me through, because a lot of like what this show is designed for obviously the younger audience. What did it look like right when you graduated high school to then obviously going to Egypt? There was a little bit of a gap there of what, like 2-3 years? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So I graduated high school and I ended up going to college. That was really the only option, or I thought was the only option. I was like, okay, like everyone's going to a university. I went to a pretty good school. It was a public school, but a good school. And I was like, I'm going to go to a college. And I got into Embry-Riddle. It was an aviation college in Daytona Beach, prestigious aviation school. It was really expensive, but I did get a partial scholarship, so that helped out.
For sure.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to go there. And then I quickly realized, like, wow, this is going to take a lot of debt and a lot of money to be able to execute on this degree. Then once I get this degree, there's no telling if I'm going to make a lot of money or get a good job. So I was like, and I think that's really scary for a lot of young people is like, you know, you're 18 years old and you've got this decision to, you know, put yourself $200,000 into college loan debt. That's serious. You know, it's like most people, like, you can't just go out now, even as an adult, and get a $200,000 credit card or just get a $200,000 mortgage and just be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to get it. So it's pretty wild. But yeah, I went to college for a year and then decided, okay, I can spend a lot of money and just get this piece of paper, or I can go to a trade school and get all my pilot ratings without having the degree piece, and maybe do that later. So I pursued that route. I went to ATP Flight School. It's an accelerated aviation program. I got all my ratings in about 9 months really quickly. And then after that, came out as a flight instructor. So I taught people how to fly small planes, got my first job out here in the Phoenix area. And then really just networking was the biggest thing for me. So just networking with as many people as possible, saying, you know, hey, what do you do? Or hey, how can I help you, provide value? And the more other pilots and people I talked to in the industry, that opened doors for me to get into charter, flying out of Scottsdale. So about a year after I got all my ratings, I was flying charter on a Citation, which is a small private jet out of the Scottsdale airport. And then just through networking and an opportunity that presented itself to me, I got the opportunity of a lifetime to go out to Egypt and fly for this billionaire and travel all over the world. And it was pretty amazing. And then that led me to getting into real estate. So
before we go any further, this show is not complete with our boy, our man, Albert over here. Albert, how's the week? How we looking? How we progressing? Good week?
We're looking fantastic.
Solid week?
It's been a great week.
Saw you negotiating a deal here earlier, like 5 seconds ago over FaceTime. All right. So listen, Albert's always on, always getting deals.
Always here.
Yeah. That's awesome. Good. All right, so Ryan, how you started doing virtual wholesaling. Let's just jump into the nitty-gritty here, because the first 20, 25 minutes of the show is warming it up, getting everybody's questions flowing, because we're going to be talking about crypto today, guys. We're going to be deep diving. I have a lot of questions about this. Ryan is going to answer as much as he can. This is a very, very complicated. In my mind, it's complicated. Maybe in your mind, it's a lot clearer. So we're going to try to make it less complicated today on this show. So if you've got questions about it, but I think it's an interesting strategy. You use wholesaling as your ATM to then invest into crypto, because a lot of real estate wholesalers take the money, put it into real estate itself, and I know that that's part of your plan as well. But it's real interesting right now in this time in history. We've never experienced something like this. This is absolutely bananas. We're literally on the edge of Web 3.0. Which over the next 10, 20 years is really going to make a huge impact in everybody's daily life around the planet. And you're jumping into it. So there's going to be a lot of questions, I'm sure, on it. I'm going to open this thing up and try to really dig into it. But you started virtual wholesaling.
Yes. So, I learned about real estate. I wanted to monetize my off time because I was working 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off. So I had off time at home as well as off time on the road in hotel rooms just to like think and process. And I'm a person where I want to be doing things and I want to be, producing or growing. Yep. So learned about wholesaling real estate and then ultimately started cold calling because that was the best marketing stream. Yeah, talk to people.
That's
right,
it, baby.
So talk to people, get out there, get on the phones. I was like, okay, that's easy to do. We're going to get a list. We're going to start calling people. I started calling, and then I honestly got a VA to start like almost immediately after I started doing a little bit of cold calling and just paid her to call and produce leads while I was flying or on trips. Yep. And then I produced a bunch of leads and I started with a course by Jalen White. Yeah. He was one of the guys that got Alex Signs in wholesaling. Yep. And bought his course for like $300. He was big on cold calling, just used those strategies, implemented, and I said, okay, I'm not going to stop doing this until I get a deal. I'm just going to keep going until I get a deal and be consistent. And through other people I was talking to, they were like, wait until you get like 100 leads and then you can kind of reevaluate. Maybe, your sales skills aren't good, you're not good on the phone, but until you get 100 leads and you talk to 100 people that are qualified, then don't give up, don't think you're bad because it takes, it takes reps.
I say 1,000.
Yeah.
I have a 1,000 contact challenge.
Yeah.
Right. Because once you talk to 1,000 strangers about real estate, you can talk to anybody about anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you just don't get the opportunity to speak with and initiate 1,000 conversations in a short amount of time in regular life unless you really try.
Yeah.
Unless you're really like proactive about it and you're really going and it's part of your lifestyle is reaching out to people that are in some sort of distress with their property and seeing if they're ready to sell it at this time. Because it really comes down to timing.
Yeah.
It comes down to them getting, making that decision to want to get this stress off their shoulders.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So what markets?
So I was first in the Phoenix market. So I was living in Phoenix. I was marketing to Phoenix, and it was maybe like my 74th or 75th lead that I found someone who was actually an investor. It was a buy and hold guy that was offloading some of his condo portfolio. And it was scary to me because I was like, oh boy, this guy's an investor. He knows way more than I do.
Oh, he's so savvy.
Yeah, I'm just this kid, I don't know what I'm doing. But ultimately just talking to him and some back and forth over emails while I was in a hotel room in Egypt, I sent him the contract via HelloSign or DocuSign.
Wait, so you're in Egypt?
Yes.
You're in a hotel room in Egypt.
In a hotel room in Egypt.
Talking to property owners.
Yes. Yeah.
In Phoenix.
Yes.
What's the time difference?
I think it's a 9-hour time difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the middle of the night?
Yeah. So it's midnight, 1 a.m. Yeah, I was walking around my hotel room in my boxers on the cell phone just...
But you already have a good job. You're already flying planes for a billionaire. Right. What are you doing? Why are you a psycho? You need more. You need more income. You need more opportunities. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted freedom and I wanted more. And the thing is like I have friends. One of my best friends, hurt himself in an accident and he couldn't fly again. So the pilot career is dependent on your health and your medical situation. And it's like if I get into an accident, I lose a leg, I lose an eye, I can't fly anymore. Right. So it's like I don't want to rely on that one stream of income or that one skill set because now I could be back to zero. And then when COVID happened, a lot of pilots lost their jobs, a lot of people got furloughed. But me, I already had another business, another six-figure skill set because I was, trying to monetize that time and do something else instead of being stuck.
Well, the fact is, when it comes to our income is equal to the amount of value we can provide to the marketplace, to the community, to wherever, right? And if you are dependent on somebody else to tell you how much value you can provide, you're at risk. I mean, I think having a job is or a career or whatever else. I mean, there are things that COVID really exposed.
Absolutely.
That if you do not have your reins on this, if you do not have some control over your financial income, things get shaky, things get scary, things 100%. Get a little bit, up in the air. And I think that we're seeing right now specifically, we're seeing a great filtering process of people that have looked at their jobs that they thought were secure or cozy or comfortable with. They were forced to stop it because people are creatures of habit. Right. If you have a job, if you're a server, if you're a pilot, if you're, a teacher, if you're whatever else, and you have this, routine, you have this schedule that you're going through, you kind of stay in it. COVID shut it down, and now everything went, and everybody's kind of like, wait, I can do other things.
so much
Like
more
I
out
can
there.
work for myself.
right.
I could get into crypto. I can get into, I can drive for Uber and then focus on my other business. There's a lot of different things going on right now that I think are really interesting.
Absolutely.
So I think and you're an example of one, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you get furloughed as a pilot. Now you're focused.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because once you're forced out of your comfort zone, then it's like, oh my God, I've got to do something about this. For
sure.
So it's like if you're already comfortable, start getting uncomfortable and push yourself out, and try and do more things, because either you're growing or you're declining. So there's no just cruise control in life. I think you really have to be progressing and learning new skills always.
So you were doing that deal in Phoenix. Now you're in Atlanta. How did that transition go?
Yes. So I did my first deal in Phoenix. It was a condo deal.
Okay.
Made $4,000 on the deal, wholesale. And then ultimately I saw Phoenix at the time as just a really competitive market. And I was like, hey, there's all these big guys. There's Brent Daniels in the market. There's all, these big people. So I'm like, okay, maybe it'd be easier if we go to a different market, which I don't recommend this for people starting out. I'd say focus on one market and kind of learn, what's around you. But I had a friend at the time who saw me do my first deal, and he was like, wow, that's really cool. I want to learn this too, or can you help me do it? And so I was like, yeah, let's work on it together. And then he brought some opportunities in Albuquerque just through Craigslist and like for sale by owners in Albuquerque. And he was cold calling those people, talking to them, and he was like, hey, I've got some deals in Albuquerque. I was like, okay, cool. We'll figure it out. We'll get these deals under contract and try and find some buyers in Albuquerque. And we made some money in Albuquerque. Albuquerque is definitely very different than Phoenix. It's easy to find properties. There's a lot of distress there, but there's not nearly as many investors. Whereas Phoenix, there's a lot of investors and a lot of good properties, and it's hard to get deals. But so I kind of saw both of those markets, and then I was overseas a lot of the time outside of these markets. So I was like, I'm virtual by default, so I can really go wherever. And then I was like, well, I know Atlanta better than almost any city because I grew up there, spent 19 years of my life there. So I'm like, for me, it felt like it was kind of in the middle. It was like the supply and demand there's less big money investors than Phoenix, but there was more opportunity than Albuquerque. So I really started to just hone in on Atlanta and pull a bunch of data there, list, cold call, build a cold call team around calling in Atlanta. And then, we started doing deals in Atlanta, and that kind of worked out and was a great sweet spot.
Now, is it just Atlanta, or is it multiple markets? Because obviously, it sounds like New Mexico. Was that like a part-time thing, or where? Like, what does that look like now for you?
Like 3 or 4 deals in New Mexico, and then we was like, why are we in New Mexico? I've been there like once.
So then, what markets we got?
So right now, Atlanta is the primary market, and then we've done some deals in Florida, Texas, and then I think Ohio as well. So we've done deals in other markets. Atlanta is the primary focus with cold calling, and then I've been working on PPC and trying to do like some nationwide PPC Google stuff. It's kind of a Nick Perry strategy. Learned that from him. So experimenting with that now and trying to branch out into more of like a nationwide model. There's been trial and error with that, but Atlanta's been the best market for us thus far.
Love
Good
it.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I love that you made $4,000 on that condo, and that Matt, put up the blueprint here. And this is really what the show's core is all about, is starting out, you do a first deal, right, Ryan? I mean, you did your first deal, you got $4,000 on this condo. Was that your first deal?
It was.
It was, okay. So you did you did your first deal, which is the first part. And then we start moving up into getting full-time into this, killing off that debt, right? Any kind of debt that you have, whether it be student loans, whether it be consumer debt, whether it be anything else. It's tough to build wealth if your income is going towards interest payments. That's just
100%.
math.
Yeah,
that's just
100%.
That's just math. And then from there,
yeah, absolutely. So like Brent said, you're going to want to go full time, killing the debt. I mean, it's all about then investing into assets. It's being able to create
that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Investing into these assets that are able to produce some kind of like, whether it's passive income or even just to flip and make a profit on it. And then obviously financial freedom is the end goal.
Absolutely.
So what you're doing is your assets are crypto.
Yes, almost entirely crypto with mostly Bitcoin.
How so let me you make, let's say, $20,000, right? What percentage of that are you putting into crypto?
I'd probably say like as much as possible. I
Right.
don't really have a set percentage,
Okay.
but obviously you have to pay your business overhead,
Of course.
and
Yep.
pay yourself.
Yep.
And then, but anything left over, I try and put in.
But are you
crypto.
living lean right now? Putting more in there? You still balling out and putting what's left over there?
I don't live as lean as I should, to be honest. I have a pretty
Okay.
good lifestyle. I like to have fun, to be quite honest
Yeah.
with you. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoy myself, but at the same time, I'm trying to kind of shrink that back a little bit.
For sure. Yeah.
I think a lot of people in their early 20s, if they start seeing decent money, that's a problem a lot of us have. Is we're like, oh, sweet, I'm going to go buy the watch, or I'm going to get a nice apartment. But
Yeah.
that's great. I think you have to, your environment's important, and you have to feel good to perform good. So there's definitely a balance. Like, I
Right.
don't, like a lot of people are like live super, super scarce.
Right.
But I think that kind of creates a scarcity mindset if you're just like living in poverty, although
Sure.
you're making
Right.
a lot of money. So
For sure.
there's a balance there. But yeah, I'm trying to put as much money as possible into crypto because I think it's one of the biggest opportunities of our lifetime. And right now is
Yeah.
just an insane time.
So for people like Brent and I that are just solely real estate focused,
Yeah.
I'm very interested about crypto.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the audience is interested in crypto, and a lot of them might even be like, okay, I'll make $10,000. Maybe I'll put 5 into whatever. Talk about some of like what you invest in. Is it all into Bitcoin? Is it Ethereum? Is it Dogecoin? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, mostly Bitcoin, just because
Okay.
I think it has the biggest long-term value.
Okay.
I look at it as like a digital gold or just another form of currency. So it's like you can hold your money in dollars, or you can hold your money in euros, or all these other
For sure.
currencies.
Yeah.
Or you can hold your money in Bitcoin, and that really is all it is. At the end of the day, is like a digital store of value and a digital currency.
Yep.
And the thing is, especially right now, like we just printed for October, like a 6.2% inflation number. Inflation's higher than it's been in 33 years.
Right.
They just printed $4 trillion and basically doubled the money supply in the
So
United States
what
economy.
happened? What happens when they print more money?
So when they print more money, your dollar isn't worth as much because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, let's say this hoodie is limited edition, right? If there's only
is.
5 hoodies,
It is.
yeah, it's very limited, guys. So TTP hoodie, prime hoodie.
Prime hoodie.
If Brent goes out on eBay and sells 1 million of these hoodies, what's going to happen to the hoodies? Everyone's going to have them, right?
Well, first of all, you can't buy these hoodies. You have to earn these hoodies. Okay.
They
So
qualify to get a hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same thing with a currency like the dollar. So if they print a bunch of dollars, now people have more dollars, and it's less value,
Yeah.
and they can continue to print as much as they want. So with Bitcoin, there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin, and there's only going to be so many that are mined, and then after that, that's it. So it's deflationary, and it's the opposite of a fiat currency, similar to
Right.
real estate.
Okay.
So it's like real estate, you can't buy, there's only so much beachfront property in the
Right.
United States.
Right.
That's it. There's no more. There's only so much property in the world that you can buy.
So is there only a certain amount of Bitcoin in the world then?
Yes. So there's gonna be
21 billion.
Yeah,
21
21
billion.
million.
So then what happens?
million
if-
or billion?
Million.
Million.
Yes.
do they just create more Bitcoin, or how does that work?
So after the 21 million are mined, then there's no more. So
Okay.
they're currently still mining,
Okay.
and Bitcoin operates under what's called a halving cycle. So
Okay.
every 4 years there's a halving cycle, meaning the miners get less yield for what they're mining.
Okay.
So I forget what year the last Bitcoin is supposed to be mined,
Okay.
but it's getting harder and harder to mine.
And what
There's
is
only
mining?
So many. So mining is basically a process, and I'm not the biggest expert on this because I don't personally mine.
Okay.
But it's basically a process where you have like supercomputers or computers that run a certain code to produce Bitcoin. And the work from the computers that produces this code is what is Bitcoin.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So it's kind of equivalent then, almost like gold mining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
literally.
could look at it, as like mining gold or like
Interesting.
harvesting crops. It's a similar process just with computers instead of, shovels or.
Well,
hatchets.
let's look at this just philosophically.
Mm-hmm.
A dollar is a dollar because the government says it's a dollar.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly.
It's agreed between humans what the value of something is.
Mm-hmm.
It's bartering. You know what I mean? We just turned bartering into slips of paper, which makes it easier. And now it's not even that.
Yeah.
Everything's digital.
Absolutely.
I mean, how often do you carry a wad of cash around? You know what I
Almost
mean?
never.
It's debit cards, it's credit cards, it's digital.
Well, I mean, I will
already.
chime in. Albert always has cash because you never know when we're going to find a yard sale. And
Well,
so-
of course, he's got to flip something.
But-
Yeah, he's got to flip. Yeah.
You never know. You just need a little $20 bill to buy,
I mean,
Top
dude,
cards.
there was at one time actually. He just shout out really fast. $110. I needed some sports cards. Totally
Yeah.
finesse this girl. But anyway, that was a side story.
Nice. All right.
This old lady.
We'll dive into that.
Michael Jordan card, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know.
All right. So, but honestly, here's the, there's a couple different sides to this, Ryan, right?
Yep.
So you see like every interview with Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett's like, they're not producing anything. There's nothing behind this. It's just it's essentially somebody is willing to pay more than you paid for this coin, is what's propping this thing up.
Yep.
Is his and I'm doing a terrible job of like really filtering through his thing.
Yeah.
It's not like you're buying a stock in a company that produces iPhones.
Sure.
Right? It's not like you're buying into a stock of Amazon that's this huge corporation.
For sure.
You're buying into the fact that you're betting on that people will use this as currency in the future online.
Yeah, exactly. But
Right?
I would kind of clap back with the question of what exactly is the dollar, or what's the dollar backed by? And it's not backed by anything. Over the last 50 years, it was backed by gold,
Right.
and then we got off the gold standard, and now
Yeah.
the dollar's not backed by anything other than the fact that the government says it's worth a certain amount, and the world economy operates based on this dollar.
That's
so,
it.
yes, cryptocurrency is not necessarily maybe backed by anything, but it's like a piece of code and like work made by these computers, and I'm not the best at explaining this, but that is of value to a degree. And now there's like $1.3 trillion just in Bitcoin alone, which is over double the value of JP Morgan Chase or any of the biggest banks in the world. So
That's in crypto or Bitcoin?
in Bitcoin alone, I think crypto as a whole is a $3 trillion market cap
Got it.
as of recent. So
Okay.
there's trillions of dollars in this. It's not going away. It's just as big as Amazon, Tesla, some of the biggest companies in the world. So it's like, okay, do we adopt this? Do we go towards this, or do we go away from it? And with all the money being printed over with the stimulus checks and the COVID environment, the dollar's only going down. So I kind of view it as like, where do I want to store my money? Because people will tell you growing up as a kid, most people are like, oh, save your money.
Right.
If you put your money in a bank account, you're losing 6% right now. It's not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're storing value, because that's all dollars are, is storing value, store value in something that's valuable. So store it in Bitcoin, store it in real estate, something that's
Absolutely.
finite, that appreciates over time and becomes more valuable. So I think we have a mass adoption of crypto right now. El Salvador just made Bitcoin their national currency.
Yep.
You're seeing ads at the World Series for FTX, one of the biggest crypto exchanges, ads in the airport. Celebrities are announcing it as they're taking their salaries in it.
Yep.
So I don't think that this is we're going in this direction, and it's pretty solidified at this point.
Yeah.
And just like the dollar is only backed by what we say it's backed by, just our own understanding of the dollar, I would look at cryptocurrency the same way.
Awesome. What happens when the government gets involved?
That's a good question. I mean, I think there's probably going to be some regulations in the space. I mean, I think a lot of people are using it for, avoiding taxes and things of that nature right now.
Of course.
I mean, the whole NFT thing is mind-blowing, what's going on in that space. So I think there'll be some kind of regulation, but it's cool because crypto is independent of any government. So, it's a worldwide digital currency. No government controls it. There's not one individual or one company controlling it. It's all peer-to-peer.
Yeah, but when El Salvador says it's the
decentralized.
national currency,
Yeah.
sounds like the government's getting involved.
Yeah, so I'm not too in tune with exactly what's going on in El
I
Salvador.
know. I watched
but-
something on this. Well, the interesting thing. So I watched this just to prepare for today. I was watching this, a few different YouTube videos, and they were talking about how Web 0.0 number 1 was like just a page and it had script on it, right?
Yeah.
Web 2.0 was all about community. It's all about sharing. It's about this. It's YouTube. It's social media. It's all these other things. Web 3.0 is this weird thing where it's the metaverse and virtual reality and crypto all smashed together, and all of a sudden there is value in owning parts of the internet. And this is the way that it was kind of described to me is crypto is kind of owning part of the internet in a sense where everything is tracked on the blockchain, right? And everything is, it starts to become its own entity. The internet becomes its own thing that you can own a piece of. And the example they gave is, and Alejandro and I went through this a couple years ago when we bought the talktopeople.com website, the domain name. That's all you can have. That's what you get for buying part of the internet right now. You could buy a domain name.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now NFTs and all these other things are coming
Yeah,
out, right?
right.
But if you were to try to buy like, ball.com, right?
Yeah.
Or footballs.com
Probably very expensive.
or buffguy.com.
Yeah.
It's probably thousands of dollars or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
But all you get is a domain name. All you get is like that's your address on the internet.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, or like an Instagram handle.
That's
or something.
wild.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
all
A
you
lot
have.
of them are taken. It's like yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, it's getting through there. I had a buddy, and I talked to my wealth manager about investing into it. There's a company called Theta Coin, and anyway, it's an interesting company. And my buddy bought in last year and has made $10 million.
Wow.
$10 million
yeah.
in a year. Just went bananas. I mean, he bought in early 19, but basically this company is like the backbone of internet sharing through decentralized servers, whatever. So, I mean, it's just interesting things like that you're seeing some potential on some of these other platforms, and you see big companies like YouTube, Amazon, Tesla, all these people getting into this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's incredible. And I talked to my buddy Nevin Bilo, really smart real estate investor, developer, been doing it for years, and he bought Bitcoin at $6,000.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, he bought it at $6,000, and he's like, Brent, you need to buy Bitcoin. You got to think of it as buying real estate.
Exactly.
He says if you're buying real estate, right, you need to buy cryptocurrency because it's like buying real estate, and Bitcoin is
Yeah.
kind of like beachfront property.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good analogy to real estate because you can look at it like, let's call Bitcoin real estate. Like in real estate, you can flip, you can buy and hold.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing in Bitcoin. So you can like flip Bitcoin, so you can buy it low, sell it high, and you can be a trader, or you can buy and hold. If you buy and hold, you're betting on the appreciation and the long-term value, and I think that's going to be a huge play. I think it's only going to continue to go up exponentially over the next 10, 20, who knows, where it'll go. But then what's cool is like you can pull out a home equity line of credit or refi on your properties, right? You can do the same thing with Bitcoin.
Right.
So you can pull out loans backed by your Bitcoin
Right.
and still keep the Bitcoin, have all the appreciation on that, and then not get capital gains tax. You're not selling anything. So at that point, you become your own bank, which
Yeah.
is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
So and then you could do this to invest in more properties. If you have $1 million in Bitcoin, you could pull out a loan against your Bitcoin, go take down a flip, flip the house, or burr out of it, throw the money back into Bitcoin, pay off that loan, and then you're lending yourself money. You don't need a hard money lender.
Now you're getting crazy.
Yeah.
Now
so
you're
it's
getting
like,
crazy.
and then you're just
Literally.
yeah, and then
Love
you're
it.
getting the whole time.
So it
you're-
plays into your real estate business as well.
Yeah, so it can play into your real estate business.
Have you
and-
done a loan that's backed by Bitcoin?
Yes, so I just did one yesterday.
Okay.
So and it was amazing because it took like 10 minutes. I'm standing in line to board a flight to come out here.
Yeah.
I literally did a loan in like 5 minutes, got approved, got the money sent to my bank. So it's
Through what?
it's
Through
insane.
like an app?
Yeah, it's Celsius. You can do Celsius, BlockFi. There's some other ones. They're basically exchanges where you can hold crypto and then take loans out against it.
Get out of here.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, so-
simple.
yeah.
They send the money to your account.
Yeah, so it's completely asset based. So you just like prove your address.
So you're holding on to the Bitcoin. You're
still holding it.
You're getting loans
You're getting a
on
loan,
that
yep.
Bitcoin, using that to buy real estate, and then putting it back into more Bitcoin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, listen, guys,
questions
we
better
need
be
some
good.
questions.
Yeah.
We need to light this thing up. This is
I
crazy.
got one for you, Ryan.
I didn't, yeah.
Here's something I was thinking about, right? So you compare Bitcoin to real estate.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk can't tweet about real estate and suddenly my house goes up 50%. Yet he can
Correct.
tweet about a picture that like hints at something, and that Bitcoin or that cryptocurrency goes nuts. Like how do you regulate that value? Like how can you predict that where someone of high influence says something and all of a sudden the value of that just changed, and vice versa?
I mean, I think that's a really good question, and I mean, yeah, I mean, somebody could do that with real estate. Like, let's say like Grant Cardone or some big real estate influencer says, "Hey, the Phoenix market is going to crap. It's done for. It's over." I mean, that could affect the market. Maybe not like Elon Musk tweeting about Dogecoin, but I think like. I don't know what the market cap is of like United States real estate, but it's probably trillions and trillions of dollars. So it's like, I think as Bitcoin and crypto grows, like what one person says about it is going to influence it less, because the more money that's in it, that volatility is not going to be as high. So, I mean, yeah, there's volatility, or people could say something, but I mean, it depends on why you're in it. Like if you're in it for the short term and you're just trying to make a quick scalp and make 10 grand and then go cash out and go to the club, then you might be worried about what Elon's saying, but like if you're trying to hold it for 10 years, Elon saying something in September isn't going to, 2021 isn't going to affect you,
10 years down the road.
Yeah, 10 years down the road.
Are we ready for questions? You want us to keep jabbing? Yeah? All right. Douglas, Ryan is such an impressive, intelligent young man.
Well,
Way to
they
keep
didn't
it up.
specify.
There you go. Oh, yeah. I think both. Yeah, I'll put you guys both into it. Yeah, absolutely. Will you do me a favor, Matt, if you have a chance, or Daniel, will you Google what the market cap is of U.S. real estate? I'm just curious. Zach, what do you think crypto will look like throughout the next couple of years? And real quick, before we get to this, I think an interesting point to what you were saying about somebody tweeting about it and it going up. If you have short-term strategy like flipping, that's going to affect you. If you've got a buy and hold, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on if you believe in the asset. If you believe, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like properties during the downturn on the beach didn't lose value.
Yes. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like
but people that bought it in 1950 bought it for like $750,000. Now it's worth 10 million.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that there's long-term strategy with crypto. I think that's probably the smartest. Right. I'm sure people can make money and probably a good living flipping and doing day trading, doing whatever it is with the crypto. And I think those people love that action.
Yeah.
That action would drive me crazy.
I think that's what's going on in today's world of like social media and ad, because every ad that I'm hit with is crypto, right? It's like Coinbase, like join, trade, and trade now, whereas a lot of people don't see it like you do, where it's long term. It's not these short term swings that you're trying to trade, buy the dips, sell it at the highest point. It's if you hold it long term, it can be very lucrative, and you can even raise money. I don't know if you saw, but Mila Kunis did a show. Basically, Hollywood wouldn't fund it, so her husband, Ashton Kutcher, is huge in the crypto community.
Yeah.
They created NFTs to where people would buy it.
Yeah,
that funded the production, and the people who owned the NFTs had a say where the storyline goes. So that's a real way that,
which is incredible.
to Brent's thing, right?
It's like a crowdsourcing technique to get that money.
It funds it and it has the community involved, so the show goes in the direction the community wants it.
And I'm sure if the show does well, then those NFTs appreciate, and then they could sell them for more money. So they're getting like almost a stake. They're like a stakeholder in the show.
It's awesome.
Which is wild.
So talk to me. Next 2 years, that question. Sorry, we didn't answer it.
2 years. I mean, I think crypto is only going to go up. Traditionally, like every 4 years, there's a halving cycle. In Q4 of the fourth year of the halving cycle, we see the biggest appreciation. So like the end of 2013, end of 2017 were some of the biggest spikes. So I think now, end of 2021, there's going to be a lot more appreciation. I mean, we hit all-time highs like yesterday or 2 days ago. It's 68,000 as far as Bitcoin goes. But I mean, I think it's going to completely change how we spend and interact with money, how the global economy works, and I think it's going to revolutionize a lot of industries just with the blockchain.
Love it.
And how people
it's insane.
Operate and transact.
Yeah, love it.
Hey, Ryan, question for you. Is there a day like in the stock markets? I think they call it like Witch's Day or something. It's where like futures, options, they all expire on the same day, and it's supposedly like a rough day for the markets because everything's done on that day. Is there something like that in the crypto market?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's definitely bad days.
Right.
Like there's these weird flash crashes on certain exchanges. But I think that's another reason why you want to hold long term instead of just trying to day trade it. So I mean, you can make a ton of money day trading it if you're really smart and you know more than we do, or you want to make a huge bet on a meme coin, Shiba Inu, or one of these things, and oh my God, I made $10 billion overnight. I mean, people do it, but good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. That's not what I'm trying to do. What do you think of Solana and Stellar? I think Solana is a really good coin. I don't know as much about Stellar. But Solana, it's comparable to like Ethereum or Cardano. So I think Solana has a really good ecosystem for smart contracts, and a lot will be built on the Solana blockchain. So I think that'll be a good project.
Owns the name Bitcoin?
I don't think anybody owns the name Bitcoin.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody has to, who owns it?
Yeah, because it was.
Is it not a company at all?
So it's not a company. It was Shitoki Nakamoto.
But who owns the trademark?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He owns the trademark?
So.
And do we know who that is? I thought nobody knew
Yeah,
who.
Satoshi Nakamoto.
But he
Yeah.
said he didn't create it, right?
No, it says inventing of Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
so
thought
he
nobody
created
knew
it.
who invented Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It was because Bitcoin's backed on, correct me if I'm wrong, but the technology of blockchain. He
Right.
was the one who
Yes.
started
Yeah.
blockchain,
Okay.
which is a wild technology when you really look at it. It's been around in other industries forever, but cryptocurrency now being on blockchain changes the game.
Interesting. All right. We're going down. This is
yeah.
this is one of those things that just sparks a lot of different questions in my mind.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
There's a lot-
actually,
a lot of
I've
rabbit
got
holes
one
with
for you really fast.
If you pull it out, yeah, crypto is
Yes.
getting taxed here soon, though. If you pull it out, that's the interesting thing, because I was thinking about this, Ryan, as you were talking. We get the money in, right? You're showing income, and then so you're going to get taxed on that income.
Yeah.
You're buying crypto, so you're already getting taxed. You're buying crypto, and then it gets taxed again. I mean, it's like anything else. We get taxed like 7 times on every dollar. But does that play into your decision on how long you hold something? Just long-term strategy? Are you just thinking you're just going to buy a ton as much as you can, live the lifestyle you want, but buy as much as you can just long-term?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking at it as a long-term investment play, and I like the idea of like pulling out loans against it and kind of being your own bank
Yeah,
to
that's
invest
cool.
in other assets.
And there's no capital gains with that too, then, right?
Not on a loan, so
Okay.
not on debt. You're not getting
Yep.
taxed on the debt. But if you were to sell it, then yeah, you get short-term capital gains. So if you sell it within a year, short-term capital gains. Over a year, then it's got long-term capital gains.
How many of the 21 million Bitcoins have been mined?
Oh man,
Can you find that out,
Yeah.
Albert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe like 18, 19 million, 20 million, something like
Okay,
that.
got it.
And
So it's
most
pretty
of
close.
them- yeah, because most of them were mined in the beginning before
Yeah.
the halving cycle. So now it's like smaller percentage are being mined, so it's harder to mine.
And
them.
what did they?
So it's
Is there any
declining.
predictions for what the value could get to?
From what I've heard, upwards of $1 million of Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah, over the next 10, 20 years.
Okay.
I mean, one person I really like is Michael Saylor. If you guys want to do some research at home, Michael Saylor owns a company called MicroStrategy. It's a software company, and he was one of the first people over the last couple of years to put his entire company treasury in Bitcoin and like almost all of his personal net worth in Bitcoin as well. So he's operating completely off the Bitcoin standard, and I think has like $3 to $4 billion in Bitcoin between his company and his personal assets. So he's a really good resource. There's also a book called The Bitcoin Standard that kind of talks about Bitcoin versus fiat currency and like where the world's headed.
Okay.
So I think those are some good resources. But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because one stat I heard recently was I think there's like 54 million millionaires in the world or something to that extent, and there's only 21 million Bitcoin. So if there's more people or like double the amount of people that have $1 million,
Yeah.
then how could a Bitcoin not be worth $1 million at some point in time? So if you look at it kind of from that frame of reference, then it's like,
And it's
okay,
what,
wow,
60,000 right now?
64,000, I think.
So you
this
just
morning.
wait until it's like at $1 million, and you're just like, I'm
So
out.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, either be out or continue to hold. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows what the value will be or
Right.
the utility of it 10, 20 years from now.
Well, the interesting thing is, and this is a conversation we had off screen. I had this with my wealth manager on Tuesday. You know, you buy an asset, you get a loan against that asset. This is what billionaires do, right? They get a loans against their
Yeah.
shares in their company, and then they live off of that.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
there's no taxes on debt that you get from
Yeah.
pulling out on an asset.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really interesting
It's
strategy.
really interesting. Yeah,
Really
so-
interesting strategy, especially if you're bringing in and this is just this is switching it up a little bit. As real estate entrepreneurs, we can go and buy real estate cash and then pull out equity and live off of that. And it's an interesting tax strategy there. Talk to a wealth manager. I'm not licensed for that, but it's an interesting strategy to buy property, build up a ton of cash, buy a couple properties, take the money out to live off of, or take the money out to go buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, to go invest into more.
You know what I mean?
assets, yeah.
It's woo. God, money's crazy.
Dude, okay, so
Money
I got
is
a question
crazy.
for you.
Yeah.
So in real estate, obviously, there's a right time to buy and there's a wrong time.
Yeah.
Like Brent was saying earlier too. I mean, you're planning on buy and hold. It's a little bit of a different strategy.
Yeah.
When is the right time to go and buy crypto?
I think there's two answers to that question. The first one is dollar cost average.
Okay.
So buy every day. Like I think one of the easiest things people can do is like go to Binance.us or another crypto exchange and just set up an automatic buy.
Yep.
So like automatic investing is the easiest way to do it because you don't have to think about it. So like, let's say you have a 9-to-5 job, or you're 18, you make a couple grand a month or whatever you may do. Just set up, like, figure out what you're comfortable with. Like, okay, I want to invest $500 a month or $300 a month. So that's $10 a day. So you can set up a payment where it just takes out $10
Where is
a
this
day. Binance.us.
Binance?
Yeah, Binance, BINANCE.us. Or I'm sure other exchanges do this as well, where you can set up automatic buys. But yeah, that's what I do. So it's like you can put in $10 a day, and it just buys $10 a day, and that way you're buying at the highs, you're buying at the lows, and you're just riding the waves. So you're dollar cost averaging. So I think that's the best strategy long term. And then that way you don't even have to think about it. So you just know, okay, I'm putting $300 a month into Bitcoin, and I'm going to do that for however many years. And if it goes up and makes me a bunch of money, great. And then you can focus on your job. You can focus on wholesaling, your active income, and you're not looking at the charts all day. You're not a trader. So that's the answer. And then
love it.
If there's a big dip and you think there's a big dip, just buy the dip. You know? So if it goes down 10%, okay, now might be a good time to buy. So buy the dips and dollar cost average, and I think you're in a good spot.
And then do you have any advice for people that are like brand new? Because a lot of the audience is going to be obviously real estate based. The ones that are going to be like, I'm going to go put money into crypto. They could see this cycle of like, maybe it's 68,000 today, but maybe it's 65,000 tomorrow. How do you control your emotion and be mindful of like, this could be long-term wealth, rather than being like, oh man, it dropped, I need to pull all my money out?
Yeah, so I mean, you definitely have to take emotion out of the equation, but like in any investment, like the volatility is a trade-off for the appreciation. So like if you're going to go invest in a risky property deal, or like, some D-class market with a big cap rate, so you're getting that big cap rate on the investment, but you're going to deal with tenant issues, you're going to deal with crime, you're going to deal with bad stuff. So it's a trade-off. So it's like you can, invest in something safer but have a smaller return, or you can invest in something like Bitcoin where there's a lot of volatility and have a greater return. So it just depends on your risk tolerance.
Love it.
But yeah, I think if
have you ever had that like feeling where you're like, oh my God, I need to pull all my money out?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's been dips, and like, over this summer, like it went down a lot, but I was like, okay, keep buying. If it's going down, just keep buying, or dollar cost average in if you truly believe in it long term.
That's like what my mindset would be tough with, is like, because the right thing there is that if it's going down, you're like, it's dipping, I probably should keep buying more. But then you're like, what I do have is going down.
And that's why you only want to invest what you can risk as well. So like, don't dump all your money into it and be like, oh, this is great, and then it drops 50%. You're like, oh my God, what did I do? So it's like, if you're going to do that, accept the fact that this is a risk you're going to take, and be comfortable with, okay, maybe 50% of my money is going to go down, but I'm comfortable with that because that's a risk that I decided to take on.
Boom.
Love it.
18.7 have been mined as of August 2021.
18.7 million.
Out of the
18.7
21.
Well, I always wonder about that, because there's like a million different factories with all these buzzing computer, these servers or whatever they are. They're mining in like Iceland because the servers get too hot, and electricity costs are going up, and the Green New Deal, like green energy and all this other thing. They're like, putting them next to thermo nuclear plants and all this other, like, I don't even know if that's a thing, but thermo plants. Anyway, Addison.
Celsius reduce your need for private hard money.
Has Celsius reduced your need for private hard money loans?
So I usually don't do private or hard money loans because I primarily wholesale, but I do want to do private and hard money loans to be able to flip and take down properties and burr them. So, yeah, I think it would. Or like, people will talk about doing like a second lien position for a down payment. Like if you want to be zero down into a property, like a flip, you might get 80% or 90% loan to value from the hard money lender, but then it's like, okay, I've got to punt 10, 20, 25% down to fund this deal. Where do I get that money? So it's like, you could have a private money guy give you the money, and then you're zero into it, and you pay him 12%, or he's an equity partner on the deal, gets 50% of the profits on the flip. Or you could use your Bitcoin and be like, okay, I need 30,000 down. So if I have 60,000 in Bitcoin, I can pull out half and use that as the down payment on the flip. The rest of the money's hard money. Now I'm zero into the deal. I can flip this deal in 6 months, pay back my Bitcoin loan. Yes, I paid interest on that little Bitcoin loan for the down payment for the house. But now maybe Bitcoin goes up 25%. Your interest rate's only 9%. that's a good return on your money. So
What's the interest rate when you pull out money?
it was 9% for like a 50% loan
On
to value
Celsius?
on your
Is that what it's talking
portfolio
about?
on Celsius. Yeah.
So it's 9%?
Yep.
Ooh,
So,
that's a good
yeah,
business. Who
yeah.
created that business?
Yeah.
First of all, that tells me a couple things. One, that they believe crypto's here to stay,
Yeah.
and it's growing, and it's a good asset to lend against.
Yes.
That's huge. Two, 9% return on something like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and the
but it's because
crazier-
it's fast.
Yeah, the
I mean,
crazier
it's
thing,
asset based,
too-
so asset based is going to be faster.
Yeah, as if you do a 25% loan to value loan
Yeah.
on Celsius, it's only 1% interest.
right.
Wow.
So that's insane.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. So if you have $1 million,
what percent?
1% interest
On
on a 25% loan to value.
Woo!
So if you have $1 million in Bitcoin, you can pull out 250K at 1%.
Right.
Which is like that's like
Cheap.
That's free money. Come on,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Fantastic.
So it's like you have a lot of wealth. Yeah, use that and buy deals and then punt it back, and I think it's a great strategy.
Love it.
Yeah.
EM Tyler. Have to be careful with buying crypto nowadays, though. Don't just buy anything. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful with buying.
There's a bunch of
anything.
different there's a bunch of different crypto styles, like you were saying, like
Yeah.
Shibu Inu. all
Yeah,
those
so
different
there's
ones.
like meme coins, there's NFTs, there's like
Yeah.
super small cap stuff that's
How do you know which ones are
or
legit?
Scam coins. I would just say by market cap, like go into the stuff that's the biggest and the most proven, or like look into who started the project or how long it's been around. It's kind of like stocks. I mean, you can buy penny stocks or you can buy Tesla. It's like,
Right.
there's a different risk tolerance to that. But yeah, don't just buy anything.
Yeah.
Do your research and like
course.
have
Well, I
a
mean,
strategy behind it.
Same as real estate, right? We don't just buy anything just because the house looks
Yeah.
ugly. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy it. There's research you
Yeah,
gotta do
there's
into
a-
it. Can I
a-
sell
yeah.
it when I'm done with it? How much work is it? Too far gone? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. If
it's
there's
a risk at the end of the day. And as entrepreneurs, we evaluate, mitigate risk to what the reward may be.
100%.
That's what we do.
Yeah, buying real estate in buying a piece of land in Scottsdale, Arizona is a lot different than buying the same size in Ash Fork.
Yeah,
Anybody
totally.
heard of Ash Fork?
Yeah.
I don't even think I've heard of
Okay,
that
good.
before.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the difference. I mean, it is. I mean, can you make money in Ash Fork? Absolutely. Is it cheaper? Absolutely. Do you feel like you're moving forward and investing in something? Absolutely. But will Ash Fork be the same price in the next 30, 40 years? Yes, Ash Fork will be. As opposed to. So it's really interesting, though. It's really interesting because, what makes a crypto proven and successful? It's got to be just buy-in from people, right? It's got to be people using it. It's got to be the way that it's structured and the way that it's pushed. Because I remember back in the day, Bitcoin came out and everybody was like, well, whatever, and then it crashed and it goes and blah, 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 blah. But then there was there was like OneCoin and there was like some other things. And you see a lot of these left, they're just gone. So you wonder, what makes a successfully, like, if you're like, okay, listen, I don't have 60 grand to buy Bitcoin. You can buy partials and do that. I get it.
Yeah.
But is there some strategy to going and doing some investigation into some of these up and comers that could potentially maybe not be Bitcoin,
Yeah.
but maybe you buy them at like, a third of a cent or whatever the hell they're selling them at, and they go to $1, and it's like,
Then you're
whoa.
rich. You're
Yeah.
rich.
That's
Yeah.
what happened to my buddy with that Theta company. He
Yeah.
bought it at like, 33 cents, and now it's at like $7.50 or something. You know what I mean? It's just
So yeah, I would look into like, do they have utility? Do they actually have like a use concept behind them?
Love it.
As opposed to like, is this just some like meme coin or something like that? Which like
Right.
you can speculate and you can maybe make a lot of money, but I would invest into things that have utility, have purpose, and are there to stay, as opposed to
Love
just
it.
some trend.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
EMT. Mike, where do you buy it?
Where do you buy it? There's a lot of different exchanges. I would say Coinbase, Binance.us, Celsius,
use?
BlockFi. I've bought a lot on Binance.us.
Okay.
Before, years ago,
Yeah.
I would buy stuff on Coinbase.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different exchanges. I think FTX.us. FTX has a US platform, or Crypto.com.
Yeah.
So there's several places you can buy it. I would just, Google crypto exchanges, and then you can link your bank account, and they'll verify you, and then you can buy
I
it.
feel like Crypto.com is making a big push. Whoever owns that is like really putting the money into
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah, that's
They got
been
Matt
huge.
Damon.
Yeah.
Just going bananas every 2 seconds. Matt Damon's on my phone.
Yeah,
and
FTX
he's like,
has Tom Brady now.
there's been big changes in the world, big risk takers and big rewards. Who are you going to be in the front of this? Are you going to be classic.
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
He's seen it once.
I've
or twice.
seen it 1,000 times. It shows up every second. Yeah, it's crazy. And I watch the UFC a lot, and it's crypto's all over everything that the
on their
UFC's
belts
doing.
and
Yeah.
crypto.com
Yep.
and I think FTX did something with Tom Brady. So it's wild. Yeah,
It's wild.
a lot of
Insane,
marketing.
man.
Is there a Thinkorswim for crypto? No, I don't think, because Thinkorswim is with TD Ameritrade. So that's
What is Thinkorswim? I have no idea.
It's like a stock trading platform. So I've never personally used Thinkorswim, but I know people that do use it, and they trade stocks and do day trading on Thinkorswim. So from what I know, I don't think crypto is on Thinkorswim, but there are platforms that you can actively trade or day trade.
What is it?
Crypto.
What does it do?
It's just like
Like
a
a day
platform
trader?
where you can trade.
So it's
like,
basically like being able to like look at it almost at a different angle.
yeah,
rather
so it's
than
like the
just buy
software
and
that
sell.
day traders use to buy and sell. They're looking at the charts and
Gotcha.
like all the data.
Gotcha.
So that's like what Thinkorswim would be for stocks.
It's my tax records.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you want to actively trade, look
It's,
into
prop
FTX.
stream.
Yeah,
or,
right.
yeah, it's a prop
It's our
stream.
prop
yeah,
stream.
The prop
Yeah.
streams, stocks
Yeah.
or crypto.
TTPdata.com. Stop messing
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, so KuCoin or FTX if you're looking to active trade, I would say.
Awesome. Thoughts on XRP and Ripple?
Yeah, so
Man, they come up with some fun names for
some
crypto.
fun names for these things. So like Ripple has been in this like lawsuit with the government, I think the FTC, if I'm not mistaken, for a long time. So I haven't really looked into it since they've been in that legal battle. I know that they've been doing good things as far as that goes. So I think they'll probably win, and then it'll appreciate a lot. But I've stayed out of Ripple for the last year or two.
How do you know all
so-
this? Do you get like news updates? Do you research this? Do you watch
Just
YouTube
kind of
on it?
research,
What do you do?
YouTube videos. Then there's like some good like paid little mastermind groups you can be a part of. Or a lot
Are you part
people-
of crypto mastermind groups?
Not like big mastermind groups, but there's a couple like different calls I'll like hop on once a week with people who.
There you go.
Yeah, one of them, Jeff Seckinger, I really like. He has a cryptocurrency hedge fund, like multiple 8-figure fund. He has a lot of good information on his Instagram, and he has like a crypto inner circle where he'll get.
Wait a
market
second. So
updates.
he's got a hedge fund?
Yeah.
So what, he
cryptocurrency
raised
hedge
money
fund.
to buy crypto?
So yeah, he'll take money from investors and they'll buy in, and then he'll manage their money and invest into crypto for them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got it.
Yeah.
Does he back it by anything?
Like what do you mean exactly?
You get capital from other people. We say we're gonna go buy crypto, or we're gonna go buy real estate. It's backed into the real estate.
Yeah, so
Are
it's
they-
backed
Crypto.
by the
So
crypto.
just by the crypto itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's similar to like Ray Dalio with like a stock fund or something. Like he's buying stocks and
Dude,
it's backed by the company.
that is
So-
like mind blowing to me.
So yeah, there's already like cryptocurrency hedge funds, and I'm sure that'll be a huge thing because I mean, there's probably a lot of people that are wealthy and they're like, hey, this crypto thing's a big opportunity, but I don't want to look at it. I don't want to actively try and learn this. Just I'm gonna throw my money in.
Point myself
So,
too. I was like, yeah.
so
I'm feeling those vibes, bro.
yeah, so yeah, maybe invest into a cryptocurrency hedge fund. But
Got it.
There you go.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yep. Awesome. This is just
Everything I'm hearing though,
Ron.
like
If Bitcoin goes to gold's market cap, that puts it at 500K a coin.
yeah, I mean,
Ron, I
that's
think you just.
that's a really good point.
Ron's a TTPer. He just said 100% theta. Yeah. All right, Ron. Yeah, I told my guy put 100 grand into it. We'll see. Anyway, if Bitcoin goes to gold, 500K a coin. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Boom.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Awesome.
Albert, did you have something you were saying?
Can you imagine that though? Can you imagine if you just go, okay, listen, I'm gonna put 20% of my income. And 20% of all Hondra's huge sneeze right there into this. No, 20% of my income, and I'm going to just automatically get it withdrawn. I'm not even going to see it. I'm going to just bet on the future of the Web 3.0, the internet, the way that people are going to experience life in the next,
Yep.
10 to 50 years, right? And you just forget about it, and you just set it up through something like Binance.
Yeah.
You build that up. Now you want to you want to stay in real estate. You want to keep the action going. You want to still keep buying and owning properties. There's huge tax benefits to owning real estate.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's huge just appreciation that you can get from real estate, and that's still a strong strategy. But if you're putting money into the Bitcoin. Jeez, I sound old as fuck. If you put money into Bitcoin and the Facebook,
The metaverse.
yeah, the metaverse.
Into the Twitter.
If you put it into crypto, yeah. If you put it into crypto, but then pull your money out to buy real estate, I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
And then refinance into a commercial or a conventional loan in your real estate, put your money back in to the crypto, so you're not paying 9%, but it gives you the flexibility and mobility to buy some properties, but also keep an asset that's appreciating as you're using that money and leveraging it.
Yeah, I mean, you could even
man.
arbitrage that interest
This
rate
is a
as
great
a hard
show,
money lender
Ryan.
to do other people's deals. So it's like, let's say you get, let's say you take out at 9%, and then you lend, Ryan money at 12%.
Right.
You're making 3%, and you're lending on other people's deals and paying it back. So you could become like a hard money lender or private money lender just off your own crypto portfolio.
And not only that, you can lend more money because the coins are going up. The crypto's going up.
Yeah, so you're getting the appreciation.
Can you imagine if a coin, if you bought at
9%.
66,000 right now, right? Or whatever. What's Bitcoin right now? Well, 65 and some change, and it goes up to $500,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
And now you have so much more power to lend and do things and buy. Wow, we're in interesting times.
Yeah, one of the craziest things is everyone talks about like compound interest. Like compound interest is the seventh wonder of the world. So they'll say, you put your money into the stock market, you get an average of like 9% a year. Compound interest, it'll go up, right? So like Bitcoin is the best performing asset class of the last 10 years. And it's gone up on average, I think, 165% a year for the last 10 years. So it's like past performance does not guarantee that it's going to go up 165% every year.
Yeah.
But I think I ran the math on this, and I was talking to my mom about it, and I was like, okay, let's say you start with $5,000 initial investment.
Yep.
And then you put in $1,000 a month every month for 10 years,
Yep.
and it does go up 165% every year for 10 years. I think you'd have something like $900 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like...
Yeah.
That's absolutely astronomical.
Yeah.
And then even if it goes up 40% or 50% a year, that's still, you're going to have multiple 7-figure or 8 figures in 10 years just by putting in $1,000 a month.
Yeah, that's when you move to Puerto Rico.
And then you don't get taxed on it.
That's what I mean. Puerto Rico has exploded with crypto millionaires.
Yeah.
I mean, just exploded. Yeah. Incredible. Oh my gosh, this is bananas. What a world we live in. Here we go. Ray, how do you feel about just depending on capital gains and the use of crypto when cash flow is king and you can get cash flow from other assets?
Okay. So yeah, you can actually get cash flow off crypto. It's called yield farming. So you can put your crypto basically, so this is another thing you can do. You can put your crypto into like what's called a liquidity pool. It's basically a pool of money where people can take out loans on it. And then you can earn an interest rate on the crypto. So then at that point, you're not actually just banking on appreciation. You're also getting interest paid out to you by lending this in a liquidity pool. So you can get cash flow on your crypto. But yeah.
So say that again. So break it down like I'm a 10-year-old. Yeah. I own a Bitcoin. It's $66,000, $65,000. Okay, boom. And then what do I do with this pool?
So let's say you own a Bitcoin. You can either hold the Bitcoin or you can say, hey, guys, I'm going to let you use my Bitcoin. Kind of like a bank. So like the bank, they don't keep all your money in a vault somewhere.
Of course.
They lend it out, right?
Yeah.
So you can do the same thing.
They only keep 10%.
Right.
Yeah. So let's say, you've got a Bitcoin and you're like, I'm going to lend this out and let other people use it. You could do that, and it's called a liquidity pool.
Okay.
So you're putting your money into this pool, letting other people use it, and then you're earning interest on that.
Okay.
So you're kind of lending it out to other people. No, you didn't sell it.
Okay, so you still own it.
You still own it.
It's still appreciating.
Still appreciating. So and you're getting cash flow via interest on what you're lending out.
How does that money work? So if you're not selling it, how does it get liquid?
Are they like getting a loan back or like against the?
No, I think they're getting the actual Bitcoin itself.
They get the Bitcoin.
Yeah,
so you're selling it.
They get the Bitcoin. Yeah.
So you don't own it.
Well, no, I don't think you have to sell it. You're just like lending it to them.
How do you lend? This is.
Yeah.
Do you get this?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm mistaken. Is
I
this
got
working?
in my head. I can understand where it's going because pre-quitting my job, I was a YouTube named day trader, working at home, having some fun. So I did research on all this, but I didn't know there were so many different tactics behind it because I understand cryptocurrency and why it is how it is, but in terms of lending it, I literally, it sounds like you're describing like you're lending the Bitcoin out for someone else to do what they will with it.
Yeah, but I assume that
What if
if
they
you
lose it?
lend out a Bitcoin, then they would take the appreciation.
Unless
honestly,
they
yeah.
just
If you go
do it.
yield
rent out-
farming and
if you
liquidity
rent out your
pools,
house.
I'm not the expert on that.
Wow.
So,
Right,
But
yield
I do know that there is
farming.
A way,
Look
there's
into it. Watch
There's a
it.
way to make cash flow on your crypto assets.
I'm just saying, if you're going to get real dollars in, you're losing some part of that Bitcoin.
Have to.
Yeah,
You have to.
yeah.
But what if you
I
rent
don't
your
think you're
house
getting
that you
dollars in 'cause I think you're
own?
getting interest paid out.
The renter
instead
doesn't
of
take the
dollars.
Yeah, but
appreciation on your
the renter's
property.
getting utility of that property.
Right.
So how are people getting
the
utility
utility of the
without owning
Bitcoin
it,
if
though?
they're saying like I'm gonna go use this Bitcoin to invest it into whatever they're gonna use the Bitcoin
Okay.
for? That's the utility of the Bitcoin. I think is what they're trying to say. I just don't understand. I get the difference
All right,
between
I'm gonna have to
tangible versus not tangible.
We've got
We'll do some
homework to
homework.
do.
We'll do some homework.
Yeah, we got some homework to
We'll
do.
study up.
Yield farming.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
Interesting. Any recommendations for brokers to work with to invest in crypto? And what's the minimum to invest?
Great question.
Yeah, so brokers, like exchanges, we kind of touched on that. Binance.us,
Yep.
FTX, Coinbase, Crypto.com is where you can buy it. There's no minimum to invest in Bitcoin or any crypto asset. if
Is
I'm not
there a
mistaken.
minimum though that maybe doesn't make sense? Like if someone's like, I only have
Yeah.
$25, would you be like, okay, maybe don't?
I mean, that's super minimal. So, I mean, like, I think invest into yourself first. Like, if you only have a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, maybe invest into crypto. But, like,
Yeah.
you know, buy some knowledge, buy some education. You know, go get educated on TTP and
Yep.
do a wholesale deal.
Yep.
And then do a wholesale deal and put some money into crypto.
Love it.
So I would do that. But, yeah, you can buy pieces of a Bitcoin. So it's not like, oh, wow, Bitcoin's 68,000. I don't have 68,000. I'm stuck. Whereas a stock, like, you can't. I think now you can buy partials of a stock, but traditionally you have to buy a share of the stock. So Bitcoin, you could put $5 in, $10 in, and view it just kind of as a currency instead of like a stock share.
Awesome.
There you go. Covest. What up? Any talk of being able to invest 401ks into crypto?
Yes. Yes, you can.
I love that
Yeah.
you know these answers.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, like, I'm not a pro on
I'm looking
that.
at him
Yeah.
like,
He's
well,
like, you're like, yeah, I'm not a pro,
I
but
can't
you're
deep dive into
you're
that.
in
But
masterminds, you're going through this.
I know you can do that. So there are ways, with like you can put like your IRA or your 401k into crypto now. So there's a lot of people doing that. So I would suggest look into it, but yeah, you can.
Awesome.
wow.
Is there a way to buy discounted crypto?
Discount.
You know
We're
what I mean?
looking
Is
for
there a way- is there a way to-
motivated crypto
is there-
sellers.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's dependent on the market. So I mean, I look at it. Yeah, when there's a dip, then
Cold call the people that own
that's
them.
when it is.
then, yeah.
Can we
then
skip
straight-
trace
When it's
the
a dip,
Bitcoin
it's
owners?
wholesale.
Yeah. I mean, if it dips, dips down below.
Is there a way to
7%
skip trace
NRV or
people that own
something.
Bitcoin? Is that a thing?
Yeah, right.
Like-
Skip trace these wallet owners. Hey,
right.
man, you want to sell?
Dude,
Yeah.
look at this question.
How about NFTs? So NFTs is a crazy thing. I do not own any NFTs. I'm interested in it. I know there's a ton of money in NFTs. They're non-fungible tokens, so it's like digital art. So they're like these pixel JPEGs or almost like trading cards that are backed by the blockchain so that they can be proven of who owns it. So you can't fake the authenticity. You can't fake that you own it. So it's like a digital trading card, I think is the best way
Absolutely.
to explain it.
Made 40K off 2 NFTs.
I believe
Yeah,
it.
that's insane.
Dude,
yeah.
NF
He bought for $250.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
NFTs have got so much of my interest at the current moment. That's like seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
that's
insane.
dude.
Yeah,
I've seen guys go from buying like a JPEG that was $1,000 to $5,000, selling it the next day for 6 figures. I'm like,
that's ridiculous.
you're selling a JPEG. But I'm
Absolutely
also seeing a lot of
ridiculous.
these people. There's different approaches with NFTs too. So
Yeah.
like Gary V's, you could buy his NFTs, and then each one has a specific purpose that you get like benefit with.
Yeah.
I know Kevin O'Leary's talking about like an NFT being almost like a certificate of authenticity. So I've got this limited edition TTP jacket, but then I have my NFT that says this is 7 out of 100.
Yeah.
So there's so much out there with NFTs. I personally have way more interest in that than in the crypto, but obviously you need the crypto to buy the NFT. NFTs.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm kind of like,
You see like the latest NFT that it's amazing what NFT is, but there's a New York license plate that went to auction. On it says MM, and it's ultra rare because that combination is literally one in, what was it, like 1 million or 100 million to get that MM, and they sold it with an NFT
As a
to
certificate of
prove its
authenticity. Yep.
authenticity.
Yeah.
That's
the
where I
real
think-
deal.
Did they also get the license plate?
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So you get the physical license plate and the NFT?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that
Can
purpose
you
of it-
sell the NFT?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like you sell
I don't know
that
if you can
plate.
sell it without the license. That
probably
it's
a
a
big
useless
combo.
Yeah,
Got it.
but
It's
that's
insane.
like where my headspace is at. I think that the
What did it
marketplace.
sell for?
Oh, it was in the millions.
What?
This license plate
Brett,
went in the millions.
Brett, you would like this one. Albert, I don't know. You might help me on this answer. There was an NFT that just sold for like $562 million, and it was a JPEG.
Yep. A CryptoPunk just sold for
Five-
over $500 million.
What
Like
is
that-
what is a crypto punk?
It's one of the
One
like.
of the first NFT projects. It's like these pixelated JPEG little doodle guys.
So think of it almost like an
Insane.
artist. So like
It's insane, yeah.
Picasso could be like he has Picasso's paintings. You've got
Yeah, but
CryptoPunk, which
Picassos
is-
don't sell for $500 million.
No, he was in the wrong time period.
Yeah.
But
That
Okay,
There we
we
go.
are getting crazy in the world.
Yes.
Brent,
Let's
You
go.
want to hear this? There was
Yes.
a California plate. It sold for $24.5 million.
Yeah.
For what?
The license plate.
people just have money to spend, I guess. I want this
That-
license
I
plate.
feel
Who has
no.
this money?
I
Yeah.
feel like this is some sort of tax evasion.
Yeah, that's the
This
thing.
is some money laundering things going on
Yeah,
here.
there's gotta be a lot of
there's some
money laundering with it,
shenanigans
yeah.
involved at that.
Well,
nice
okay.
try, Albert. You're not getting me to buy that.
So
nice try.
I think we were talking about this off the camera too, but one of the strategies with NFTs is that they'll buy it and then they'll donate it to a foundation or
Yeah,
a
and get a
charity,
write-off.
and then they're like,
Yeah.
that $25 million was my write-off.
Yep. Yep. That's what you guys are going to be doing here soon. I'm going to be like, what? How are you not paying taxes?
Something like that.
Read the white papers on coin tokens. Learn the use purpose of the token. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I think that's what I got from the minimal research YouTube that I looked up yesterday on crypto. Is look at first of all, who's behind it. What is it supporting, and why do people find certain value in certain coins, and
Right.
and look at the white papers. I mean, the white papers are going to tell you, kind of what the mission of this thing is, right? So, interesting. Agreed. AI entrepreneur Mario, can you tell us more about crypto wallets? How do they work?
So you can have a wallet on an exchange and hold your money on the exchange, or you can have like a cold storage wallet. So there's an actual ledger, or it's almost like a flash drive where you can hold your crypto completely off of the exchange. Because if you have, let's say, 100 grand on
Haven't people
Binance,
lost their Bitcoins?
people have lost crypto on these exchanges.
Yeah.
So I think they're a lot more safe now. I think there might even be insurance up to a certain value on some of these exchanges to like guarantee your assets. But the most safe thing to do is pull it off the exchange so it can't be hacked, and put it on a flash drive, which it's like a Ledger Nano S, or it's a secure drive. Yeah, so put it on a drive. It's kind of crazy to think you could have $100 million on a flash drive, and then if you lose it, like what happens?
Oh,
But-
there's a story about that. Some
I'm
man
sure.
threw his hard drive away, and he went dumpster diving to find it at the city dump. He never found it, and there's millions of Bitcoin on it.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah,
That
I know.
sucks.
Yeah, I've heard of people like losing their passwords and stuff. And
Oh
it's
my
like, they
God.
lose millions of dollars.
Can you
so-
imagine?
yeah, don't be that person.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds crazy. Have somebody else do it. So what happens when someone does not pay you back?
I think she's referring to the
Like a crypto loan.
the loan.
The crypto loan.
Yeah. So I don't know the answer to that as far as yield farming goes, but as far as like an asset-based loan, so like let's say you have $100,000 in Bitcoin, and then you pull out a $50,000 loan. Let's say you default on that, you can't pay it back. They're just going to sell off your $50,000 in assets. So they basically lock it in. So they lock it so you can't do anything with it until you pay it back, and then they have the right to sell it off or liquidate it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a foreclosure on a house.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like you have the house, you don't pay the loan, then they just
Interesting.
take the house
They
from
take
you.
it. Yep.
So it's the same exact principle.
Good
What
question.
if it goes down dramatically?
That could also happen. So if it tanks, then there's a certain liquidity price. So there's a price at which they would have to liquidate the assets,
To
or
get
you would
rid-
have to
okay.
put more money into it to
Got
be
it.
able to avoid liquidation.
So if it starts creeping down, they're gonna.
They're gonna be
Yeah,
like,
so-
I get
And you
it.
haven't paid it back.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
that's
so
why
that
they're
adds
only
some-
lend like 50% loan to value,
Sure.
because if they lend 80% loan
Right.
to value and then it goes down 20%, then
Right.
it's like you're
Wash for
Yeah,
them,
it's,
yeah.
yeah, it's a wash. So that's
Wow.
why they only lend so much. So there is a liquidity price. But then on the opposite end, if it like doubles, then you might not even have to pay the loan back,
Right.
because then you have enough to cover it just by the appreciation.
That's so cool.
Really?
Yeah,
Both sides.
yeah.
Both
playing
sides, yeah.
playing both sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Awesome. It sounds like the liquidity pool is the bank. You don't have to give away your money to still have it in your savings account. Sounds like it. Maybe.
Yeah,
Could be.
yeah. I would say, yeah.
Yeah. It just the bank is backed by the Federal Reserve. That's the only issue. The bank is guaranteed by the federal government. So what's guaranteeing the liquidity pool? Maybe it's just a big hedge fund. Maybe it's a big, big fund that does that. I don't know. It's interesting. We'll look into it. What's up, Brent? I got a lot of Shibu Inu, $5 in Bitcoin. What's your thoughts on Shiba?
Yeah, Shiba went crazy. Absolutely, just exponentially went to the moon. A lot of people made a lot of money, but I didn't
What are
buy
you guys
it.
laughing about?
To the moon.
To the moon, yeah.
Is that
To
a
the moon.
saying?
Yeah, it's a saying. Yeah,
Okay.
like Doge or some of these meme coins, like
Yeah.
to the moon, crypto to the moon.
Okay.
So yeah, I went to the moon.
This is wild,
Definitely
man.
went to the moon. A lot
Okay.
of people made a lot of money, but I didn't get into it. And then I saw it going up, and I was like, I just avoided it because I thought, it's overinflated, and it kept going up, but it wasn't a risk I wanted to take. So I don't know where it will go, but we shall see. I think it'll be kind of like a hype fad thing, but I don't know. Could be the next big thing, but I highly doubt it.
Fair enough.
There you go. Different topic. Switching gears. Hey, Brent, do you think Houston is a good market to wholesale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
To the moon.
to the moon, to
Houston.
Jose.
To Houston.
Jose, I really do. I mean, there's a lot going on in Houston. First of all, it's the third or fourth largest city in the country. So the bigger the city, the more cash buyers, the more houses, the more opportunities, the more distress. Remember, across the country, 6 to 10% of the real estate market is in some sort of distress at all times. Whether that's just the properties are dated, whether it's pre-foreclosure, whether it's a tax default, whether it's inherited or probate or whatever else it is, 6 to 10%. And if you have a bigger pool, then there's more opportunities. All right. Plus, every once in a while, Houston just floods, right? And some people just leave those properties from the last one. So there's a lot of different opportunities there and good price points. So I'm really, really hot on Houston. We have some great TTP family members that are in Houston that absolutely crush it. So Jose, if you're going to go for it. I mean, if you live there or if you're thinking about that market, I think it's really, really strong. Yep. There you go.
And back to crypto.
Boom. Maybe. Oh. Bitcoin is backed by its scarcity. The dollar is backed by nothing, a.k.a. fiat monopoly money. There you go.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's finite, deflationary. Dollar's heavily inflationary right now.
But the government has to step in at some point, right? I mean, it has to. If all this money is going to, if people are using cryptocurrency as opposed to U.S. currency, that's going to affect everything.
Yeah, well,
Everything.
Yeah,
But I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if crypto's big enough. I don't know how much money is in the circulation of U.S. currency around the world versus what is the size of the crypto market. Can we pull that up? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe
that'd
it's
be
not.
good to know.
Maybe it's not even
Yeah.
a percent. Maybe it's not even close. Maybe they're like, yeah, that's cool. But you're like, okay, you might affect us
Well,
1%, 2%.
I mean,
you know what I
'cause
mean?
I think there's definitely more money in the U.S. dollar. I mean,
Oh, for
that's
sure.
the world
Yeah, yeah,
economy's
for sure.
So there's
But I
probably
mean, you look at
trillions and
all.
trillions and
You look at
trillions of
trade, right?
Yeah.
You look at all these things. You look at what
Yeah.
crypto is built on. It's built on technology. Well, technology needs to be built. There's hardware. There's, I mean, yes, there's a cloud, but guess that's not. It's not in the sky. It's not in the ether. It's on servers.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these are real things that things need to be made and shipped and brought from all around the world to be able to do that, and they're doing it through U.S. currency. They're doing it through Chinese currency. They're doing it through the governments of the world that control trade.
Yeah.
They control trade. So how do they have to play together nicely? They have to at some point. And I'm just wondering how that will
What that
affect
kinda
the
looks
total
like.
value, if they'll restrict the total value of what crypto can be. And I'm speaking completely uneducated on this. I'm just looking at it from like a normal perspective.
Yeah,
looking
definitely.
At this thing.
Yeah, I think there's got to be regulation and there's got to be some kind of government solution to this. I don't know what that solution will be,
Right.
but I think it's only going to continue to go towards crypto, especially because like if you send a wire transfer, it takes time. Banks are only open during certain hours of the day. You can send somebody $1 million in crypto on a Sunday at 10 p.m. You know, and it's fine. It's faster money. It's a better solution than dollars, or trying to move dollars to the UK or dollars to Egypt, or across bank accounts. You're dealing with different foreign banks. It's a very tough thing to do. So,
Sure.
At some point, yeah, there's going to have to be like a world economic solution to all this, and we'll see what that entails. But it could be scary. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing that a lot of people are missing in terms of the value of crypto and everything is the technology that's backed behind it. Like the blockchain is extremely secure, and that's what makes it such a wonderful thing to have, because you cannot fake a cryptocurrency. It is locked in the ledger, in the blockchain, and you can trace that back with like 99.9% certainty. I'm sure some supercomputer will probably break it at some point. Maybe, I don't know, but it's so secure that it's that confidence the back. Whereas the dollars and currency, you can fake that, and all of a sudden you have fake
you can
money.
fake
right?
transactions.
You
have
cannot
fake money.
fake the blockchain. It is secured by the decentralization of it.
Well, money is a social construct, right? We agree on what things are worth.
Exactly.
I'm willing to give you this amount of dollars for this rhinoceros sculpture. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's a social construct, and it's just I think it's just evolving into something really interesting and global.
Yeah.
Really, very global. Which I think is an interesting play, especially for you look at the bigger that crypto the bigger that crypto, the more money that crypto takes in that's not in circulation on other things. How does that affect the economies of the world? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's not enough. Maybe there's not enough crypto to make a dent into it. But you just wonder, as more and more come into it, is this the new dollar? Is this going to be the new currency? Is this going to be the new social construct of how we do
I think it will be.
Yeah, I
do
think it will
business
be,
together?
honestly.
I think it will be. And I'm not even in crypto. That's part of the reason
Yeah.
why I'm like intrigued by it, is because I also know our generation. Our generation, dude.
And you
Everything
could
is
buy
technology.
the thing is
It's
you
technology.
could buy the currency. Like the currency goes up. Like I can't buy $1 and be like, dude, I'm gonna buy in the U.S. dollar, and then
Well, the
I'm
thing
gonna
is,
wait
like
till
you
this dollar
can,
goes to
but you're in
To
I
the
know.
moon, to the moon.
Yeah, so it's like you're in the U.S., so you've accepted the dollar as like the day to day. But if you're in Argentina
Right.
or Venezuela or one of these countries where they're getting hit with crazy inflation, their currency's worthless, they want to get as many dollars as they can, because if they put all their Argentina, I think it's the
course.
Argentinian
Of course.
pesos
I
or
get
whatever.
it. Right.
So then they want to
I
buy
get
the
it.
dollar. So yeah, it's kind of like
Right.
currency exchange at that point.
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, I think the term like millionaire won't be a thing in the future, and it'll be like, oh, you're a Bitcoiner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, he's a Bitcoiner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because $1 million in the '80s is a lot different than $1 million now. So it's like there's a lot more.
Oh,
millionaires,
yeah.
right? So it's like,
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
a millionaire in 1920, you're balling.
They say
So, like,
now
yeah.
to be in the 80s. I just
Yeah.
read an article on this. You have to have 3 million now to live the same lifestyle of
Yeah, I
of
bet.
1 million in the 90s.
Wow. And that's the 90s.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild.
So Addison, Ledger Nanos are fire. Nanos, sorry. I'm thinking Spanish here.
Yep,
I have one and surely
yeah,
recommend.
I have one as well.
What is a Ledger
It's
Nanos?
It's a
Nanos?
hard cold storage wallet. It's like a flash drive you can put your Bitcoin on or your crypto on.
So I'm obviously not familiar
Yeah.
with this. How does this work? Like, I have Bitcoin, I buy it. It's through one of those trade systems.
Exchanges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I put it onto a flash drive.
Yeah, so you can hook it up to your computer and then.
What is the purpose of
download-
that? Is that like a safety
why
net?
isn't it
It's
saved?
just a safety thing. Yeah.
But,
so
but like if you buy it and it's protected through the blockchain, how do I
lose it?
how do I lose it?
you could potentially be hacked on one of these exchanges. So
Like your account.
yeah, your
Your
account.
digital
So it's
wallet
like
will be hacked on
So
your
like
computer.
is it like
Yeah.
like my
yeah, so
email
your
at
digital wallet on the
gmail.com
computer.
or
So like
like-
yeah, somebody could log into like somebody could hack your Instagram, somebody could hack your YouTube, somebody
Yeah.
could hack your bank account,
Yeah.
right? They could log into your Chase account and just pull all that money out. So it's like, what would be the safer option? Maybe pull all the cash out and put it in a vault. Maybe, maybe not, but that's kind
Fair
of the
enough.
equivalent to what it is. It's basically like taking your cash out of the bank account and putting it in a vault or like cold storage somewhere.
Okay, so you wouldn't have like 40 Bitcoin, it'd be 40 Bitcoin that's on this storage unit or like this safety.
Yeah, so instead of being online
Yep.
in that digital space, you
Yep.
now have it offline in a
And
cold
then
storage.
that's
What do you
where-
mean cold storage? I'm thinking
It's-
like some sci-fi.
yeah, it's
they
just kind of
twist
a
off
term.
The cap
Yeah, it's
and
just kind of a term.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
They're like DNA,
Yeah, I mean,
DNA for
maybe
Tyrannosaurus
keep it in your freezer
Rexes
or something. Yeah, I don't know, but it's just a storage wall. It's just like a flash drive with your stuff on it.
It's not cold though.
I don't think it's cold. No, I don't. Yeah, it's a term.
That's supposed to last a long time.
Cold storage
Yeah,
lasts
it's like-
a long time.
What about hot storage?
Freezing your body and living forever or something.
Okay.
I don't know,
Okay,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then when you
Design
how does it
lasts a long time.
I guess I'm having a hard time. How does it go then from like the storage unit back to the website?
You can plug it back in and then put it back.
Dude, that's
on
so
the
lame.
screen.
So,
wild.
Yeah.
what up, Ryan? Can I book your flight time on a G650 with crypto?
I assume you mean like try and charter a G650 with crypto.
Yeah,
So
there
I
you go.
mean, yeah, I could probably hook you up with a charter broker that could sell you a flight on a 650 and you could pay in crypto.
What's a 650?
Gulfstream G650 is
Yeah.
the jet that I flew. So yeah, I'm type rated on. So
Nice.
yeah.
What is that?
Yeah,
what,
so,
what,
I mean-
what would it cost somebody to take a flight from LA to New York?
LA to New York
On a
you're probably
G650.
looking between 7,000 and 10,000 an hour, I would say.
Okay.
Depending
Okay.
on the logistics behind
So
the
about like
flight.
How many
60.
people could
But
fly
I
on
would
it?
call it 13 to 22. I
How do
think,
you
or
how do you
19,
do that?
19.
I'd love to
Yeah.
take my whole team to Europe
Yeah.
on a plane.
So I mean, you could charter a jet and go to Europe, but it'd be
How do I do
ridiculously
that?
expensive.
What's ridiculous?
To go from here to Europe, it'd probably be like 150 grand one way.
So 300 round trip?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going.
take-
We're going on a commercial flight.
Yeah.
Really?
Economy.
Why is it that
It's an
much?
Economy.
Fuel
Okay.
mainly and operating costs. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of money to
Got
fly
it.
private.
But it's
Yeah.
important to note that private jets, correct me if I'm wrong, they
Yeah.
fly faster than commercial jets
Sure.
by a landslide. So
Yeah.
you're saving time. They're
little
charging
bit,
you, right,
yeah.
for your time back.
The
Like,
outward sinking.
Yeah, but there's still restrictions. They can't fly that fast. There's,
There's
Right?
speed, there's speed
we would
limits in the air.
cruise at 90% the speed of sound. So it'd be Mach 0.90.
Right.
Airliners mostly fly at like Mach 0.80. So
Right.
it's about 10% faster.
yeah. So instead of
fly
an 8-hour
higher.
flight, it's 7,
Yeah, but the thing is like you're saving time on the ground and all the stuff behind, security.
and all the Instagram photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to flex.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's you can't
Yeah.
go on a. Can't go.
You
Who,
can't do-
who-
you
who
can't
had
do
that
influencer
quote?
marketing
The
on
biggest
Delta.
flex is going on a private plane and not posting about
not
it.
posting about it.
Yeah, I love that quote.
Yeah, that's
I love that.
real.
Hey
wild.
Ryan, is John Bingham from Denver just saying great stuff?
What's up, John? Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.
Oh, you got it. Yeah,
Yeah, he follows me on Instagram.
Awesome.
We talk. Yeah.
Love it.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks for supporting the show. Awesome.
One more question.
One more question.
Let's do it.
Got 2 minutes left. I feel like we could do this. We could do this a couple more
Yeah,
times.
there's
Seriously.
a lot.
I think we can unpack a lot.
Yeah.
So I think
much.
we're gonna have to buy some,
Oh yeah.
see what the experience is like, and come back with it. So,
Yep.
and then
Absolutely.
we'll bring it back on, Ryan.
Too. Yeah, we'll see how we are in a year from now.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
your thoughts on XRP?
Yeah, so
from Eric?
XRP, Ripple, we kind of already touched on that. They're in a legal battle, I believe, with the FTC right now, and yeah, it's going well for them, but or the FTC or the SEC. But yeah, it's going well for them, but I'm not invested into it personally right now. I had some a couple years ago, just like super small amount, sold it off, but
Good to invest into.
I think long term, yeah, maybe. It depends on this legal battle that they're facing. So
You got it.
yeah, we'll see.
Cool.
Wow. Dude, what
Awesome.
what an episode.
Yeah.
What would it cost to fly to Europe and not a G650.
Not a G650. Well, the thing is, do you want to do it one way or do you want to stop?
Well, I want to come back, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, well, like most airplanes aren't going to have the range to go from Arizona to Europe.
He means nonstop.
Right.
So you'd have to have like a really long range.
No. We'd fly somewhere.
So you fly to like Maine
Yeah.
and go like Maine
Yeah,
to
yeah.
So I mean, you could probably do that in a smaller airplane like a G4 Challenger or something to that extent.
Okay.
So maybe like 5,000 an hour ish. So I mean, yeah, but you're looking at a hefty. It's gonna be six figures one way.
One way.
Yeah, one way.
And then
Yeah.
you have to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah, I could get a quote. I could call somebody and get a quote for you if you're interested. But
We'll talk.
yeah,
All right.
it's expensive.
What a great show, Ryan. Thank you for
Yeah,
being
thank you
on
so
here
much for
so
having
much.
me. Yeah,
This
it's a
is
blessing to
this
be
has
here.
opened
Honored
my
to be on the
eyes
show.
to a
Yeah,
lot
thank
of
you so
things.
much.
It's given me some
Yeah.
perspective of somebody that's doing it and has a good perspective. And
Right.
I think it's the future. I think that it's going to be really, really interesting. I'm going to do some more digging into it. I'm going to talk to my my wealth manager, puts together this family office that takes care of everything, insurance, taxes, investments, real estate, the whole thing, and see how that fits in the plan, see what other people are doing. But I encourage everybody to investigate. And I think that, I think that either way, it's a smart discipline to take money off of the table. Once you can get some expendable income that you can go and instead of balling out, maybe take some of that. We have two choices when we have money. We spend it or we can invest it.
Right.
If you make it automatic, you can invest it and let this thing grow over time and build wealth. And that's what's
Absolutely.
that is what's lasting. That's what makes us comfortable when we get older. You know what I mean? Like we have a certain window of time between like 18. They say from 18 to 65 of working time. Like that's our prime time to provide value to the marketplace. Which really, they say your prime is like 30 to 50, which is interesting. But if you're saving and you're working and you're taking it off the table and you're constantly doing it, you're not resetting every year and not, you know what I mean? Your money's working for you.
More value to the marketplace.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Impact more people. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that is it. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Sign us out.
Seriously.
Ryan.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Obviously, every week, this is like the highlight of it for us.
Yep.
We're definitely trying to get more guests like Ryan on here. So if there's anybody that you guys would like to see, feel free to drop it in the comments below.
Please
We'll go
do.
through and we'll take a look.
Yep.
But other than that, we're looking forward to see you guys next week. We got Josiah Grimes.
Awesome. Yes.
that.
Owner of Keegley
Yep.
with Jamil Damji's partner next week. He is incredible. So we will
amazing.
see you guys next week. Love you guys. Bye.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up.